All right, folks, everyone ready?
Yep.
Okay, all right. We want to provide the public with an update of our investigation and the status of the crime scene. The search of the site has been completed. Our CSI unit will continue to process the crime scene throughout the evening. All witnesses have been interviewed. We are in the process of interviewing the victims' families. At this time, there are 6 people who were shot, 4 people who are dead, 5 others who sustained various other injuries during this incident. UPS employees have been allowed to enter the facility and retrieve their belongings. The reunification center is being closed. All of the families that we have been looking for have either been reunited with their loved ones or are being interviewed. There are names that have been circulated in the media. We have not, I repeat, not released any names related to this case. We want to again thank our public safety partners, including the Fire Department, San Francisco General Hospital, the Sheriff's Department, the California Highway Patrol, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, along with the Mayor's Office and the Red Cross. This has been a terrible tragedy for the city, and we thank everyone who joined us today to help the victims. Our homicide detail is investigating this incident. We ask anyone with any information to contact our tip line, and that number is 415-575-4444. At this time, are there any questions? We're still doing the interviews to figure that out. All we know right now is what I've already told you about the number of victims injured and killed.
We don't understand the difference between an assault long rifle and what you described as an assault pistol. Is that a fully automatic weapon?
Well, we don't know what the capacity of the weapon is yet until we test fire it to say if it's automatic or semi-automatic. We won't know that until we test fire the weapon.
This is the first time for some people. Can you just kind of preliminarily go over what happened around 9 o'clock today?
Well, I won't go back over everything in the interest of time. I'm trying to get a few of the questions in. But as we all know, we had a tragedy here earlier this morning where a gunman opened fire, injuring 5 people and taking his own life. Out of the 5 people injured, 3 have succumbed to their injuries. A 4th, the gunman, killed himself, and 2 are still being treated for gunshot wounds.
What specific concerns are stopping you from releasing the full name?
Pardon me?
What specific concerns are stopping you from being able to release the name of the gunman?
We are, all of this is pending the medical examiner saying definitively this is who that person is. We always err on the side of caution. As people have brothers and relatives that look just like them, and we just want to make sure the medical examiner is the one that confirms the identification of the person, and after that's done and we got confirmation that the next of kin have been notified, then we release the names.
Chief, have you been able to learn anything more about the motive? We heard some rumors that maybe something happened before this incident that may have led to it. Do you know anything about the interviews you've had that led you to any kind of motive?
No, not yet. As I said earlier in the earlier interviews, there are literally hundreds of people to be talked to, some with very minimal information, and some know exactly what happened from beginning to end throughout this tragedy. So right now we're finishing and sifting through those interviews.
Where did you find the bodies? Where are the bodies located?
In various locations. As you guys have probably seen from the aerial footage, there were a couple outside and some were inside.
Do we know if he was targeting certain people in that area, maybe some of his co-workers? Do we know anything about that?
We don't, not yet. And we hope to find that out once these interviews are completed.
What are the extent of the injuries in the building this took place? We know it's in a morning meeting, but can you explain where in the building?
Then if you know more than I do if you know it was in the morning meeting. We don't know the specifics yet. Preliminarily, taking a quick look inside the crime scene. So, I'd be making things up to tell you that I know exactly where he stood and where the people fell. Right now, we don't know that. We're doing the interviews because, aid was rendered to folks. They were dragged to safety. So we're going to have to reconstruct that entire scene, and that's why Crime Scene Investigations is on scene right now, and that's why it's crucial to get the statements so we can reconstruct what happened moment by moment.
Was there any kind of confrontation with the SWAT team and this man? And we know that he committed suicide, but can you describe any of that at all? Where he finally pulled the trigger on himself?
Well, I can say this. The officers did what they were trained to do, and that is when we have an active shooter, we engage the active shooter to stop the shooting, and the officers did that, and this person took their life because our officers confronted them.
Did he shoot himself in one of the trucks?
I don't have that information about exactly where he shot himself.
Did police discharge their guns? Was there
None of our officers fired. We don't know. We don't have that information, and that's why the interviews are so crucial at this point. We're going to have to go back and not just reconstruct the last 24 hours, but if there was something that happened, a week, a month ago, then those are the things we'll be looking for in these interviews.
So when it was not additionally, that changed from the last time that you were out here. What is the extent of the injuries? Were the injuries caused by the gunman, or was it caused by the escape and the flee?
You know what? It sounds like a lot of it was in the escape portion of this. Again, I'm not going to go into the specific injuries to individuals, but I believe a lot of it was during the evacuation from the facility.
We know that he was wearing a uniform. Was he a driver? Did he work in the facility? What type of job did he have?
I don't know specifically. I have not 100% confirmed that he is an employee. And until we get the identification, again, we'll marry the two together, and then we'll forward more information to you once we find out specifically who he was and who employed him, and if he was in fact a UPS employee.
Are you able to say more about the victims? Were they targeted, do you believe, or was this somebody coming in looking to shoot people right now?
Nah, I'm going to pretend like I'm back in my gang days on the witness stand, asked and answered.
Thank you, everybody.
We heard the building was clear during the last update. Did you find anyone else hiding inside the building anywhere when you went back in? Was anyone in there?
No, and that was the concern. This was a frightful scene, and we just wanted to make sure someone wasn't so terrified that they were hiding, and we didn't know that they were inside the facility. That's why it took so long to do the sweep, and we also wanted to make sure it was safe. So we have since secured the facility and done a final sweep. There was one person located, and we got them out. But other than that, there was no one else in the facility after the initial evacuation. Other than that one person, we got out.
Last question.
Not to my knowledge. And thank you guys.